Yo, so what's all this? What's all this talk about? Fucking. What's all this talk about? Talking about where they're gonna hold the AFC Championship. They're like the
Mhm.
potential Bills and Chiefs AFC Championship.
In Atlanta.
Right, but why are they calling it the potential Bills and Chiefs Championship?
I don't know. It's a little premature, but
Yeah, it's a little wild.
yeah. Because they were like, they didn't just say the AFC Championship game. Maybe I guess if either one of those, if both of those teams make it, then they will have it at a neutral site. Maybe if they don't make it, maybe they just, the home team gets the advantage. I guess
Right.
it's it's definitely odd. Like it is weird. I can but the coin flip thing was weird too.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't really care because I like the Bengals against any team. So home or away, they're starting to show that home field advantage, the percentage in which it determines games, is starting to go down because of how easy it is for teams to travel. They think, and stuff like that. Like away games aren't as
But
like
but
impactful
they're
as they used to
like
be.
but it was like uh what game was it? Normally teams are in town the full week before. So they don't even fuck around. They already got hotel stuff set up. Everything's in, they just use the extra practice facilities that are there, or they use an indoor practice facility that's there for them. Um, Most teams like don't stay at home and then travel at the last minute. They realize that before that travel and lag kind of fucks with players, so they like to like be in town, and those guys are professionals. They're in town somewhere, and it's like practice, hotel, they eat together. They might go out to dinner, but it's not. They don't try to do anything crazy because they they know from previous stories. You don't want to be caught out here, man of the year. Walter Payton man of the year, and then you get caught soliciting hookers before the Super Bowl, and then you end up getting cooked all game and losing it. So I think a lot of these players know that playoffs is big business. Plus, a lot of these dudes now have incentives with playoffs, so
Right.
um, they're not gonna fuck the money up. So I again, like, because like Baltimore, didn't they just stay in town? They didn't even leave. Like,
I don't
so
remember.
who did you guys play at the end at the last game?
Baltimore. We play them
Yeah,
again.
yeah, I think they stayed in town. They didn't even fucking leave. So and anyway, like, hey, all the gear is there, all that stuff. Why even bother like leaving town and then coming back? It make no sense. But
Right.
that's what I was saying with that game. Most of these teams get in town and just set up shop. Just,
Right.
you know.
Well, with that being said, keep it real G Real podcast. We're back with another one. I think it's like we're almost to 50 episodes. We now have 100 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
to everyone that's been following. I get a
Nice.
lot more viewers, really. I get a decent amount of views, and I start to get like more likes than usual, but must be the content isn't great enough for people to just hit subscribe on it, right? Um,
Right.
we didn't do a lot of power rankings towards the tail end of the season because I was like
Mhm.
getting to the point where I'm like, well, we already know like half these teams are booty or more. So I think next year I'm gonna keep going with them, but I'll maybe do like my top 15 teams or some shit like that instead of like, because how many times I can sit there and tell you like Texans are
Chiefs at the
rebuilding.
bottom. Yeah.
Chicago needs this, and that. It's like, so at the end, I think I'm going to start trimming it down. But yeah, so we're here. It's playoff time. Playoffs here. Here, my boy Ton, who's mainstay on the pod. My first ever person I had on the pod. Huge Viking. Yo, show them what you got in the bag. Show them everything you got.
Yeah, so got little Vikings, got hat, little hoodie, pullover, got little something in the back there.
Yo, show them the photo of you when you were a kid.
Oh wow.
I don't even know if you got that on tap right now.
No, it's on the phone. This is my screensaver, but maybe at some point I can put that up there. But lifelong, long time Vikings fan. Let's keep that G real.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, interesting playoff matchup here. I feel like we have a handful of solid games, and then I do feel like we have some games that can either the teams are so sporadic or the level to which they're actually good is at odd levels to where I feel like we have some games that are pick'em games, but at the same time, those pick'em games could go in like any direction. Like either team could win seriously. It could be close. It just has a wide array of variance in terms of how they could end. I guess we'll start with the Jaguars and the Chargers, the 4 and the 5 seed game in the AFC. What do you think about the Chargers squeaking in here down the stretch, dude? Playing some good football. Or not the Chargers, the Jaguars.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say with the Chargers, kind of every single year they kind of just get it, and that we could revert back to the old school Marty Schottenheimer Chargers, where they start off really bad and then end up finding a way to the playoffs, and then end up finding a way how to get themselves out of the playoffs.
Right.
But with the Jags, what actual nice job by Doug Peterson getting this team. And remember, it was a little bit, the Urban Meyer thing was really bad, but like I'm gonna make this real quick because this is kind of a funny thing. So remember when Urban Meyer and the previous year in the preseason, he's going crazy in the preseason games, and it was like, what's going on with this dude acting real crazy, and like really giving, like caring about the preseason. Well, remember this preseason with Doug Peterson, and all of a sudden the pundits and all the people are like, "Oh, this don't look good," and so they were already down in the team, and I was like, "It's just preseason." Now look at this team now, and impressive win to get the dub against the former AFC South champions to really solidify this. That's a big win for them.
Dirty turnover at the end of that game.
Yeah, yeah. As far as like the PFF numbers, obviously Aiden Hutchinson has been playing a lot better than Walker. But overall, as a defense, this team is good. Young, good team, playing together. It's a good credit to Doug Peterson and what he's done on the offense. Also, you got some things really working for you at the end of the season. ATN looking like a real beast running back. And again, I'll be the first one to say that I said it before. I thought he had a lot of mileage on him. And coming off an injury, and Urban Meyer made that pick, to kind of pair up the quarterback with the running back from Clemson. And it's like, I was like, I don't know. That's kind of, and Urban Meyer is a little bit right on that running back. ATN's been playing really well at the end of the season. I'm going to jump out and say this because I had looked at this game before. I actually like the Jags at home over the Chargers. And I think that they're clicking right now and have a good mix. But I also think the young players have there's a lot of confidence going on there. Starting with your quarterback. Also, they found a rhythm in the passing game, and I think something that's turned on, like I was saying with ATN, got a really good running game, getting chunk yardage out of the run game. Offensive line's playing well. Young defensive line, younger defense, and made a little bit of a turn on that. I actually like them in this game. And you also have to remember back in the days when we're talking Mark Brunell and them at home, when they got to the playoffs or had played meaningful games, they can bring out a crowd. It's a good, loud crowd there. It's just we've seen so many years where they've been buns that Jacksonville ain't gonna bring anybody out. But you get them in the playoffs, you got a good crowd that'll show up. It's a home game for them. I actually, I like the Jags in this matchup. I wouldn't say if you want to go for a point margin like it'd be big, but I actually like that a lot of things at the same time are kind of clicking for them. And I think, and Doug Peterson is a Super Bowl winning coach. That does play into it. They might bring out some trickeration plays like he's done before in the past. And I really think that this younger team and actually beating your AFC South champions to get this host game is actually really important for them. I think that was a big win by them, and I actually do like them in this matchup against the Chargers. Even though I do like a lot of parts about the Chargers, but I think they made a couple mistakes last week, playing some starters a little bit too long, and then end up losing some starters. I think that's problematic for them.
Who did they lose?
And Williams, wide receiver. Again, it seems like that offense clicks better. Even though Williams has just certain skill sets, I think with Herbert, it seems to, when he's in the lineup, they seem to play better. They roll them out there. They roll all the starters out there. They didn't really need to because they were already going to get into the playoffs. And I think it's them and the Giants that weren't going to move from playoff position, whether they won or lost. Giants sat everyone. The only person they played, I think, was the lineman Evan Neal, the rookie. So, and then they took him out after like almost 40 snaps. So, what's crazy is like the Chargers end up playing Herbert. They play Williams. Williams gets hurt. He's questionable for the matchup. I think Bosa takes a knock. He's questionable for the game.
I could look.
I mean, and then Staley had just a weird response in the presser about about playing the starters. I don't know. I mean, Herbert's been banged up throughout parts of this year. Ribs. I mean, wouldn't you want to sit the guy if you think you're gonna, you already got a locked in playoff spot? I mean, I don't know. I find that weird.
Mike Williams is questionable,
Mm-hmm.
but Bosa, Callahan, Kenneth Murray, and all the other guys, they're good to go. They participated in practice in full.
And to me, Herbert and Williams have a really good connection. Williams is not going to be has all this skill talent doing different things at wide receiver, but they have a good connection. And when he's on the field, they seem to play really well. And they were stupid enough to put him out there for unnecessary snaps, and then he ended up getting hurt, and then he's questionable, so might be out in the game.
So, I'm bummed because the Chargers managed to get 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out that the Chargers took so many injuries this year, and they've had injuries on and off, because when you look at this team in totality, they got 10 wins and they're banged up. They're missing half their offensive linemen. Mike Williams can't stay healthy. What's the other guy? Keenan Allen can't stay healthy. But when you look at this team on paper, I feel like this team, if it was fully healthy, would be a really good, really competitive football team. Now they're competitive. They won 10 games in a division that wasn't as good as we thought it could have been. Like, remember, we all thought that them, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Raiders, although not all of them are going to get in the playoffs, we thought all those teams could be at least 500-ish teams, and it turned out two of those teams were worse.
Mm-hmm.
But in a league we thought was good, or in a division we thought was going to be more competitive, you look at this team on paper, when they're all healthy, there's a really good football team with Austin Eckler. All the wide receivers they have contrast each other. You got Keenan Allen, who does everything. Mike Williams, who gives you that red zone down the field jump ball ability.
Big body, yeah.
And then they got a lot of young wide receivers that do a lot of different things underneath, like Palmer. They got guys that can stretch the field. So I do think this game, personally, so as I look at the injury, so I guess Trevor Lawrence is questionable, but he'll play. Their best offensive lineman, Brandon Scherf, is supposedly questionable. I don't know about him, but yeah, I think this game's going to be a close game. Originally, I picked the Chargers the other day. We were talking about it in the group chat, but I think it's going to be a close game. When you look at it,
yeah, some of these games are toss-ups.
The Jaguars are a little more healthier, and I think the areas in which the Chargers aren't healthy, it's kind of got the team a little bit disjointed in terms of like their grouping, like their defensive back core isn't fully healthy, their wide receiver core isn't fully healthy. They're missing their best lineman, their left tackle all year. I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags took this game. I kind of lean towards the team, who has the overall better offensive weaponry. Both of these teams play like middle of the pack defense. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a close one.
The crazy thing about this game is if people were healthy and both of these teams played like high cylinder, you're playing well, I would take the Chargers because I think when you're talking about high level talent, I think when you're talking about, like you said, Williams, Keenan Allen, Herbert, even Eckler, and then when you look at, remember in the offseason how they loaded up their defense, but the Achilles heel of this team all year, and that's what everyone, even their superstar players, injuries, and I just think that it might really catch up to them in this game. They're not fully healthy. There are a lot of teams that roll into the playoffs that you always limping in, you get the wins, but I just think it's such a weird thing that you would play so many players so long and you wouldn't rest them, and then you actually got players hurt in the last game when it didn't need to happen. Which I think Mike Williams is a key contributor to that team. And you got guys nicked up on your defensive line, and it's just like you said, defensive backs. I just think when you're really in an important pivotal game like a playoff game, I just think that Jaguars are a little bit healthier. Jaguars are playing a little bit more consistent right now. I think like I said, they found something in the run game. These aren't runaway games. Most of these games are not runaway games, but I think the little bit of the edge is for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I could see. I'm trying to pull up the odds for these games, so we know what the odds for these games are, so we can see. But like for some reason, I'm having technical difficulties with absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even my fucking phone.
So I'm going to.
I'm looking right now. Okay. So Jacksonville is the dog at home, according to DraftKings.
Yeah, so they're a -1.5 right now.
Right here,
it looks
plus 102 for me. Is an
Um,
underdog.
again, like if you're going by Vegas, there's a couple of these games that are just pick 'em games. This is one of these pick 'em games. You wouldn't be wrong if you picked either team. Again, I don't necessarily, based on these defenses, I don't necessarily think these are this is a runaway game where it's just going to be a shootout. It just doesn't feel like a shootout to me. It doesn't feel like it's going to be like the Dolphins and Jets where it's like 11-9 or 11-7, whatever the hell that goofy game was. I don't think it's going to be that. But I do think that there's enough star power on both of these defenses and enough star power on offense where it will sort of be a little bit of a chess match. I think to me, the home Jaguar fans and just being a little bit healthier, I'm going to lean more towards the Jags
Okay,
on this one.
so you're taking the Jags. We'll hop over to the other side and do the other 5 and 4 seed. This is the game, one of those games where to me it's a pick 'em. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas versus Tampa Bay. To me,
So So Vegas has this at a -2.5 for Dallas.
yeah.
So
Let me see. What I
and this is another game where the Buccaneers, the 4 seed, have uh they're the home team and they're giving points away.
right.
Uh, these are and the other setup in this too is the away team has a better record than the home team, but the home team won the division. So both of these kind of 4 seed teams are the home team, but they're giving away points in this, which is interesting. But it's not a lot of points, but uh, a 12-5 team and an 8-9 Tampa Bay team. It's kind of interesting how they have the line at -2.5. That's not even a field goal. So Vegas is thinking that this game is really a lot closer than what people want. Maybe the line will move a little bit because that is a Monday game. It could, but that's very interesting to me.
So my synopsis of this game is similar to the other game that we just spoke of, but for different reasons. It's not about health or anything really. Now I know that the
Mm-hmm.
Buccaneers do have some spots where they're banged up, but I think this game's going to be a close game, and I think it can go either way because you're looking at the star power and the firepower in like high level players at different spots that the Cowboys have versus a team that has that, but when you actually break down the sectors of each team, they have a little more depth and continuity and like more good players. Like for example, the front 7 of the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they got 3 pieces on that front 7 that are really fucking good, right? But as a whole, the unit can be taken advantage of in the linebacker core. Whereas you look at the Buccaneers, yeah, they got some star power up there. They got some guys really good, Vita Vea, Levante David, and they got some good edge rushers. But that unit, it has more depth and just better players across the board, like front to side. There's no bad players on their front 7. When you look into their defensive backfield, there's not any bad players that get playing time back there too. They're 3 deep at corner. They have two of the better safeties. You could make an argue one's one of the better safeties in the league in Antoine Winfield. Then you look at their wide receiver core for the Bucs. It's one of the better wide receivers cores in the league when it's healthy. Solid offensive line. They can run the football a little bit, and then they got Tom back there. Versus the Cowboys, who, when you look at their backfield on defense, they got one really good guy. Then they got a bunch of guys that are okay. And then offensively, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league, 2 really good running backs. And when healthy, a pretty good wide receiver core, but Dak is playing like garbage. He's playing bad, and I'm not one of these guys that's just going to stick up for, bad plays because I like a player. I think a player's good. He's played good his whole career until now. Like, this is a stretch where he's thrown what is it? How many interceptions? 11 interceptions in the past 7 games. He's just not accurate. His timing's off. Maybe this team could catch fire and get hot, maybe get a big win. against the Bucks, which they desperately need to at least get a win. They need to get a win or two, man. Uh, I'm struggle with this pick. I mean, I feel like I want to take Dallas, but I feel like if the Bucks show up and play to the best of their ability, they could easily beat Dallas again. It's a tough one.
So I don't. There's a couple of things I don't like about Dallas in this game. They're on the road. They're outdoors. They're not, from a quarterback standpoint, they're not playing well. They've kind of played kind of average the past couple of games. It's not really a recipe going into the playoffs, and you really don't want to roll into obviously a playoff game where your quarterback is kind of searching to get things going. That's kind. This ain't. Remember, the defenses get better, the offenses get better. These teams are better teams, so you're not playing. You can't just go out there and then you get the Texans and. But let's even say that they had a rough go with the Texans, but the Texans played well all season. They just really couldn't get the dubs. I can't say very much because they rolled us. I don't know if that's saying much or that's saying very little, but um, I don't like them on the road. I don't like them. They seem to get very comfortable at home in Jerry World. This is not going to be the play. Uh, and I also, this is one thing I do not like about what Dallas going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has started to find their offense. I mean, Mike Evans a couple weeks ago, three touches. Uh, they started him and Brady. Remember, they were off a couple weeks before that. They were off and they were at each other, and you thought it was breaking. All of a sudden, bam, 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 get three touches. Mike Evans looks like the Mike Evans with Brady connection that was going on before during the Super Bowl run. Uh, they've been criticism about Bowles is that he'll take the ball out of the offensive hand and wants to run his defense out there, which their defense has been kind of like Minnesota in cases, been very bipolar. So, can make plays some games they just look disjointed. But these last couple of weeks, they've been actually the offense has been going. They've been getting it done. They've been getting touches. Brady's been looking a lot better because everyone was like, "Oh, this is definitely Brady's last year." Could be, but he's been playing well. This is not the team that you want to go into their house with experience, with an experienced Super Bowl quarterback, and they're starting to get the gears are turning. They're starting to get stuff going. This does not, to me, it does not set up well for Dallas. But Dallas has, on both sides of the ball, has weapons and can make plays. But the one thing that we're trying to, is that going to get back to form? And again, that's hard to do when you're going against a playoff team and potentially a Tampa Bay team that has talent on defense, has talent on offense. Will they come out and explode or not? The line is interesting. Why the road team with the quarterback not playing so great, they get 2.5 points. Very odd to me. Yeah, it's not 3 points,
I
but
can tell
like
you why. Because Vegas knows that half of America will put their money down on the Cowboys, and then they'll friggin' rake in, dude.
so I like watching Tampa Bay all year. I don't want to put the money on Tampa.
It's tough,
So
because hold on, it's tough
yeah.
for Tampa because Tampa's lost to some fucking garbage teams. Dallas has beaten some good football teams. They beat the Bengals, albeit it wasn't this version of these Bengals, but they've beaten some good teams. We've watched Tampa lose to teams where like you shouldn't have to think twice about betting them to win.
And Dallas
You
could.
don't know what Tampa's
I
going to
mean,
do.
I could like Dallas could easily roll in here and roll them right at home. I mean, we could easily see that. It's there. I mean, really, if Dak was playing average to where he used to play, this is a no brainer. We take Dallas all day. I I'm with you. I'm not so confident in his play, and I'm always weary about them when they're on the road. And again, being in the dome with your fans, they seem to play well. They seem to have shootouts at home. But this could be very different. The one thing I will say, the negative against Tampa Bay, the later and later Tom has gotten into his career, and you definitely seen it this year. They've had a lot of eggs where they don't put points on the board, and that would scare me a little bit. Dallas has a really good defense that could make some plays in this game, match up with their offensive players. Again, Tampa Bay's running game is pretty remedial. It's up the middle. It's not. They don't have this spread them out run game with the pass game that Tom has used to have with the Patriots. So if Dallas can play them straight up, again, I like it's hard to have confidence in Brady's game this year because we've seen a lot of games where there is zilch. There's no offensive continuity. There's no pass game that's working. And then they're not a team that really is like, okay, we'll just turn it over to the run game. The run, like I said, is pretty remedial. It's just give them the ball, run it up the middle, maybe a little off tackle, but they're not trying to spread the sweep plays and that stuff. And you got speed guys back there. No, if you can slow this pass game down, and if Brady plays pretty average, I don't necessarily think you have to get pressure on him. I think that you've won most of the battle because they're not going to beat you by run game play action. And that's what scares me about Tampa Bay in this game. Tampa Bay could easily lay an egg. Um, I'm I'm actually going to go opposite that what I really want to say. I'm actually going to take Dallas in this game only because that I think that if you could just get Dak to play average, I think it's almost enough to win this game. And I don't from what we've seen from Tampa Bay, even though they're sort of coming on, but what we've seen from them all year, it's been more duds than it's been wins. Look at the record, 8-9. They're they're they actually play like where they're at. 50 team. You don't know what you're getting from them. I really want to go with Tampa Bay in this game, but I just think that if Dak plays, if they even put a conservative game plan in and he completes that game plan, I think with defense and offense and what they can bring out with Pollard, the run game, I think what they can do offensively, if Dak is just playing average, I think it might be enough on the road. I really want to go with Tampa Bay, but they look like doo doo a lot of the season, and
They've
I don't
lost
know
to
if
some
I
bad
can.
teams.
Yeah, I come on, you're just scraping by in that terrible division. It just and again, Dallas has played the Eagles, the Giants, Washington. They played us. They played some really good teams that fight. I just think that as far as grit and fight, and again, if you just ask Dak to just do some average stuff, they should walk in there and take this game. I don't think, again, I think this is a pick 'em game. I think it's not a lot of points, but I really want to go with Tampa Bay, but I just can't do it. I just don't. I have more confidence in Dallas than I would in Tampa Bay in this game. I just think that Tampa Bay is quicker to lay an egg than Dallas in this. So I'll take Dallas by like 4, 3 or 4. But Uh, Again, another pick'em game. You don't. These two teams and another two teams, just like Chargers and Jaguars. You don't know who's going to show up. A lot of this playoffs is about who's going to show up on any given day. We don't know on most of these teams. We've seen the high ceiling of these teams, and we see the real low end of these teams. And there's a lot of these teams in this playoffs that have played really high, and some of them have really good records.
Yeah.
But we've seen the eggs that they've laid, and I just think that Dallas will play a little bit better than Tampa Bay, even though they're on the road. I do not like Dallas. I don't like Dallas on the road. I just don't like it when they're away from home, their confines. That's not too much more confidence because I'm not terribly confident in Dallas at all anyway. But I just think that Tampa Bay might lay more of an egg.
Yeah, so I mean, I have tons of issues with Tampa Bay. Like Tampa, they just have lost to too many bad teams. They're so inconsistent on offense and defense. They had a game where they only scored 3 points. Like, how do you only score 3 points in today's NFL? What kills me with the Cowboys is, and I've said this all along, I think the Cowboys are terrible at like their game plans and knowing when to do certain things. Like, we got to sit here and listen to dudes say, the only reason why Dallas loses is because they don't run the ball enough. And it's like, well, no, what they do is they come out in the first half and they run the ball a lot and get themselves in a hole because they're not that good on defense. And then they have to play catch up throwing the friggin' football. Listen, if you run the ball fucking 15 times like they did the other week or last week and you're like averaging 2 yards a carry, you need to mix it up better. The problem is you need to know when to run it and know when to throw it. And I watch so many Dallas games where they're like, we're going to commit to the run in the first half, and it gets you in a fucking hole. You better be prepared to play serious defense if you're just going to fucking commit to running the football. And then you got to play from behind. And then it makes it so there's a sense of urgency and you make a lot more mistakes. But hey, if you're capable of throwing the ball, that's the only way you can come back from, big deficits. So at least they have that. And they've done that before. It's a pick'em game to me. I picked Dallas in my parlay, but we'll see. I don't know.
It is an interesting point with them that they seem to always like. I'm sure they have a game plan going in, and I don't like. I'm not going to sit here as someone that sits and talks about teams and never played on a professional. I'm not going to talk about like actual play calling. But there is something when you see where a team's play calling always seems they always seem to have a disjointed kind of what they're going to do. Remember was it last year, the year before? It was like they didn't like go let Dak win the game. No, they didn't want to do that. They want to kick field goals and run the football, and it's like, oh, that's weird. And then they turn around, and then this year it's like, well, we're gonna have Dak throw the ball, and then Dak comes back from a little bit of injury, and all these interceptions. Now, as far as PFF, he's the quarterback in the lead with not throw like he's not a lot of the interceptions that he's thrown is not his fault. But still, throwing throwing in spots, you know what I mean? Like, you could still kind of throw behind a dude and then not catch it, and then it gets picked off. But still, turnovers are turnovers. But it always seems they never seem to, since Dak has been there, it's never seemed to be very smooth and seamless when dealing with him. And it always seems to be an issue with Dak, where it's like he's doing well, throwing the ball. I mean, we've seen games where he just lit up the scoreboard and put points all over the place, and his team still loses the game. It's so funky with them. They're just not. Again, I'm not saying could be Your GM, probably not the person that should be the GM, which is the owner of the team and all this stuff, and you know how they get into how they pick players. They go for high end talent while also negating, you know, forgetting the fact that okay, this dude likes to smoke weed and all this other stuff. So I, I don't know that it's always a weird concept when you hire a coach and it's like Blake Parcells. Well, if you want me to cook the meal, let me buy the groceries. Well, it's like I hired a coach, but this is my offensive coordinator. I got this defensive coordinator in here. This is my special. Why don't you let the coach do that? Let
Right.
get people on the same page. I think that that's where there's a disconnect. You're not. That's not that coach's offensive coordinator. So it seems like their philosophy is different. And to me, it. I don't know. It's just it always seems kind of clunky when it comes to Dak and the offense and what they want to do. And it just like I know they come in with a game plan, but it just never seems very smooth. Um, but still, with that said, I'm still going with Dallas by a little bit on this. But
All
yeah,
right.
I hear what you're saying. It's very clunky
All
there.
right.
It's
I'll
always been clunky.
I'll let you take this one away because
Okay.
it's pretty straightforward to me, considering what's been going on between the two teams more often than not lately, and because of the state of one of the teams. Bengals and Baltimore, the 6-3 seed. You could just take that away.
Okay. I'm gonna take the Bengals. I just think that when you have a lead quarterback and and now they actually ruled Lamar out, Huntley or what's his? It's just
Caleb Huntley.
yeah. It's not gonna work the same. It wasn't working with him. They've kind of tailed off going into the playoffs. Um, I they defense or not, I just don't think that if the Bengals get out, they've actually been playing really well. Remember that Buffalo Bengals game was two teams playing very well. The Bengals are playing very well. They got the run game going. The defense is playing well. This is too easy. It's Bengals. Uh, Not until Baltimore. They it's been band-aids and they've been holding on again for a second year in a row. Credit Harbaugh for John Harbaugh for this. Uh, Again, almost like another Tomlin, just keeps it rolling, keeps it going. But Huntley is not Lamar Jackson. Once Lamar Jackson is not a threat and not on the field, this just um, you're just holding this on with band-aids. It's just
Yeah.
I, Bengals could easily run away with this game. It could be a close game, but either way, how you look at it, it's Bengals, and I think the point spread is like 10 points or something like that.
Is it?
Um,
I don't know.
I think it's like yeah, it's 10. Um, I don't know. That's another game that's hard to touch too if that spread is that big. But if you're gonna do pick 'em, just go with Bengals. This is too
Right.
easy. They're coming out of this and they're moving on. It's a no brainer. I mean, if the Bengals lose this, it'd be a colossal loss. I mean, it'd be a big loss. They should not lose this game. Everything's working. Burrow's playing well. This team is got it fired up at the right time. Again, that Bengals Bills game was a pivotal game that both those teams wanted. Though both those teams were playing well at that game. That was a huge Monday night game. Obviously, Hamlin went down and that game got shut off. But again, the way that both of those teams are playing and the way the Bengals are playing, this is a no-brainer. Baltimore has no chance in this game.
Yeah, I just think I do think we'd beat that team even with Lamar. But that being said, Yeah, they beat us earlier in the league, but that was earlier, like when for whatever reason the team just wasn't clicking, and they finished the season 12-4. If we extrapolate how the Bills game was going, I really do think, and I think most of the experts think, that the Bengals were on their way to winning that football game. But you never know. I mean, they could have ended 13-4, possibly.
Yeah. This again, this team, like a lot of teams, what you have to do is it's got to click now. And again, with the low roster count and the games that they play, and these games, they're not easy. All these games are tough. You deal with injuries. You're basically really, a head coach is just managing all these things that could go wrong with your team. He's really not like really shouldn't be coaching. He's just, okay, this dude is down. We got to get this dude ready to go. How's the quarterback? Quarterback's nicked up. Running game's nicked up. Offensive play. You are actually just as a coach, you're just managing. The Bengals right now, the way they're playing, the way they're moving right now, and when you're playing pivotal games and you're playing at a high level going into the playoffs, again, in any league, when it's clicking and it's clicking at the right time, that's when you could look at these teams and say, this team's ready for the run. This team's ready for the run. Bengals are ready for another run. It's working. They're playing at the end of the season. They're playing high-level teams, and Vegas. Everyone believes that they can win these games. So, again, credit Baltimore, but they shouldn't win this game. It should be all Bengals. It's just
I really think the Bengals are going to run away with this game.
Mm-hmm.
They could have beat them worse in the game they just played, but they let off the gas.
One thing, like one little hiccup. I think Higgins is questionable in this game.
Higgins is going to play. He says he's playing.
Okay. I still, even without him, I still think they obviously have an advantage. But with him in there, that's huge for them.
Hurst back.
Yeah. But even without Higgins, I think it'd be a little bit of a hiccup. But the way that Baltimore has been playing without Lamar Jackson, again, there's not a lot of teams in these playoffs that I would pick. I would pick not to beat Baltimore. It's unfortunate. They've been in the past.
Real quick before we move on to the next one, do you think Lamar Jackson stays, or do you think he hits the free agency?
I believe Baltimore would be really, really stupid to let him walk. I mean, you can go to the franchise 1-year deals. Again, like they should have done with like a lot of quarterbacks, and Dallas did the same goofy thing. Wanted to hold off. If you're gonna sign him when right then and there. You will save the money because the market goes up. Every time you wait, every day you wait, every second you wait. Especially that quarterback.
You sign a dude later on, he's older too.
Right. Right now is the cheapest deal. They should have signed him at the beginning of the season. And if they probably were smart, they should have signed him the year before. You want to wait. But think about this. They are hurting themselves because they put Huntley back there. They put the other quarterback back there. Nothing. They got nothing. So now it's like
won the games they've won.
But it shows you, and they see when they put Lamar in there, they're doing the same things with the same quarterbacks, doing the same things. Guess what happens? When Lamar's in there, that gap is huge.
You can optimize
it's like,
what the offense is doing.
Yeah, Superstar, very average. You're only making the case for him to ask and get that big payday. You don't want to pay him? That's fine. There's there there is a guaranteed 20 other teams that would want to
For
sign
sure, 100%.
because there's not that many superstar quarterbacks in this league. Think about this. Probably even the Browns would step in. Yo, let's do a Watson for Lamar. Listen, there's a lot of teams that would put everything on the table to go get him, give up the draft picks. Baltimore's playing a game, but they're playing a game against themselves. They're only going to have to pay him. And if you're going to do the little franchise 1 year deals or whatever, again, he still gets top dollar within the top, 5%, 8% of the league. Quarterback, that's still a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
and
like
then
30,
after
38 million.
After that, you're still going to have to pay him. Just pay him everything right now.
Right.
Give him the bonus, everything. You'll save on the back end more than you save on the front end. But every single fucking second that you wait, you're killing yourselves. I mean, if it's going to be your quarterback, just go sign him. Like, I don't get it. Like with the Dak, same thing with Dak. Like they want to and it's like, you got to sign him anyway. Might as well sign him now. Get the cheapest deal now. All these teams like they want to play this game, and it's like, yo, cheapest deal now. Just get it now. I don't think they're gonna let him walk. It'd be high level stupidity. You don't get whatever his talent is. You don't get a high level quarterback through the front door every single day. It comes around. Remember Colin Cowherd, which it's hard to swallow. But if you're after a quarterback, the amount of value it is, you should be using every first round pick on a quarterback because eventually you might hit, and it's worth it because a lot of those first round picks sometimes don't amount to anything. So use this year, at 20, get a quarterback. Next year, you're at 15, get a quarterback. Next year, hey, you're working it until you hit. But again, you only need the one. That's it. Right. But if you got someone in the building, just sign them. You're wasting time and you're giving up a lot of money. You just sign him. He's a talent. Sign him. And when you sign him, go get you some weapons on the outside. Stop the bullshit. He can't keep going to the tight end every fucking time.
Run the ball, man. You didn't know that?
No. And you see what happened last year. Every single running back got hurt, and it was just Lamar Jackson running the football. So the dude's going to get 1,000 yards and run the football, pay him, and then get some weapons on the outside so he can throw to him. That's what you got to do.
That team falls flat every single year in the playoffs because all they can do is run it. They don't have enough juice to consistently throw it against everyone.
And, go get you, really, go out there, maybe get some assets, go get you a guy out there to catch the football. Think about this. Let's say you get, it's once in a lifetime, but let's say you get a talent that's similar to Randy Moss. We just put it up there, doesn't have to be accurate. Dude goes out there and go get the ball. That's all they need. They just need one of those fucking dudes. Just one. And this team is sailing. Pay him, get you a weapon. There you go. Oh, you signed up Roquan Smith, but you need a quarterback to get the dubs, not Roquan Smith. Very weird there. They're going to re-sign him. It would just be a colossal mistake if they didn't. They'll be searching for quarterbacks for the next 25 years. But that's
being ridiculous right now.
But that's where I put that argument.
Destroying my cords.
But yeah, that's where I put that. They have to sign him. It's just I don't know what you're going to find out.
That's probably the reason why my shit's jacked up, but it's my fault for putting it out here. No, I agree with you. I'd like to see him play for Miami or the 49ers if he doesn't
It's
stay.
it's possible, but normally those that high level talent does not walk. They won't let him get out the building. I just think they just do themselves a disservice by waiting so long, and whether you're going to pay him the one. I mean, what are you saying really when you just give him the franchise tag? I mean, you're basically, especially for someone like him, you're basically saying you're good, but you're not that good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we really want to move on from you, and it's just, yeah, he's getting paid, but uh, again, that was the gamble with Darrell Revis signing those 1-2 year deals. It's like, yeah, you're banking on your own ability, but as soon as you get hurt,
Growing.
you're out of here. You know, um, I think they'll sign him. I think the, the frenzy that would hit if he hit the open market would just be insane. And then the fact is that you don't want to be a part of that thing where you have to match that offer
Right.
or try to. Jesus, I mean, you're again, they would be paying astronomical money. Just sign him. Don't be.
He just sides
I
with the
mean,
Steelers. Ah.
well. I could. You could see this in the division where they put up an offer and then it's like, oh, now Baltimore has to match. Why would you?
I know.
Right. I don't.
Well,
It's
you know what
yeah.
time it is. Da 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 da. Yeah, Skinny. Vikings versus Giants.
Okay, so this game is like what 1.5 or no, I think it's like 3 points, and I
I'd
think
have to
they're
look.
giving it to the Vikings, so it's not a lot. This is my honest take on the Vikings. This is out of all the teams where you say you don't know who's going to show up. This team, you don't know who's going to show up, and this is more out of any team because we could show up, or Dallas could show up in our own place and blow the doors off of us. Um, that's why, like in that Tampa game, I'm like, Dallas could just roll into Tampa and just blow the fucking doors off. It's there. They have the ability to do that. This team, again, I think holds the record for most low point games and games where they came back on. That's not playoff recipe to win. That's just not like when you're playing games and you have to roll back into games. That's always problematic. Um, Another thing that tags along with that is that's not Kirk Cousins' super ability coming
He's
back
gotten better this year
and
at it.
playing,
But
and
yeah.
his kryptonite is the playoff games. So now you're telling this dude, we might need you to come back in this game, do the miraculous stuff that you were doing in the regular season, but now doing it in the playoffs where you're colossally bad. Ugh. But the Giants, and think about this in the game in the regular season we played. If the Giants don't drop all those balls and keep drives going, it might have been a different game. And the game was close anyway. So the Giants had an ability to win that game. But I don't bleed gold and purple because I'm picking other teams to win. I'm rolling with the Vikings. That will stay true. I don't care. I'm not selling this team for nothing. We could lose this game by 30, 40. But you see it back here, you see it right here, and you see it right here. We win in this game. And I don't care if it's by half a point or 20 points. We're going to win this game.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not selling my team
Up,
for nothing.
Chad.
But
You need to get in the group chat if you win and just be like, suck my dick and all this stuff.
but I will. Let me be fair. So I'm going with my team, obviously, because I've been saying this all year. My defense is bipolar. They've been playing actually colossally bad all season. They have not been good. Um, I think Patrick Peterson has been getting interceptions only because we run nonstop zone coverage, and when you see him get the picks, there's no receiver around him. He's just in the area, and the ball goes to him. So I think he gets him off of zone coverage, and again, like a lot of the picks, I'm like, it wasn't a skill. It wasn't like he dove over the dude to go grab or took it away from the dude. It's a lot of like zone coverage, so that doesn't excite me. Um, oh, but let me be fair to the Giants. Minimizing the mistakes by Daniel Jones, which is Dayball's like A1 super ability. Get the quarterbacks to settle down, and he's done that here. He's also, like Allen, Daniel Jones has an ability to run the football. But let's run the football when we need to, and let's not, when you run the football, there's a turnover every single time you run the football. Minimize that stuff. The run game is really well. They know how to complement it. They mix it in. They use the pass game with that, and it helps to open up. And let's be honest, with the people that are catching the football, not exceptional, but winning games and got themselves into the playoffs. So you have to give credit to that. They're throwing to people not named Galladay, not named Sterling Shepard, and out here winning games in their tough division and winning games outside of that division and got themselves into the playoffs. Could they win this game? Yes, they could. They could definitely win this game. The game before was not that far off, and it was a lot of drop balls and stalled out drives. It was a winnable game for the Giants. But I will not sell my team in the playoffs. We're going to win this game, and we're going to move on. But if you were to make this a pick'em game, I will not discredit anybody for taking the Giants just off a pick'em, because we could show up and we could show up in the building. That don't mean we show up on the field. That's very easy. Even us at home, we got smoked by Dallas at home, so we could easily lay an egg at home. I just think that we're going to take this game based upon we'll do enough on offense. What I do also like about the Giants is their defense is playing really well. Thibodeau has been coming on really strong. He is going to be, at this point, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he will be a high-level player for years to come, if not what he's doing now. Down the road, I'll say it here, he could be a Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame type of player the way he's playing, and it's coming on at the right time. Remember, he was injured early in the season. He's coming out, so he's really getting into prime form right now. I like what they're doing on defense there. I like how they complement it where it's low turnovers, mix of run, pass the football, and passing the football to people that shouldn't even be on the practice squad on that team, but still be able to get that done. Again, pick 'em game, but we win in it. Right here, we win in it. So that's all I got to say about that.
Oh, don't worry. I got the Vikings -3. They're gonna win by 3 points at least.
Yeah, I thought the line was -3. I don't know if it's gonna move, but that's actually, for our record and what we've done, that's actually a low number. But that's what Vegas is saying. We're unpredictable.
-3 in your home. That's pretty much a pick'em game.
Yeah, it's pick'em, and but again, Vegas can't count on the Vikings. They haven't been able to count on the Vikings because we've gotten smoked. So,
yeah, Cook showed up last game though. Cook showed up last game. I think he should show up a little bit this game.
He got nicked up, but remember, Madsen had 2 touchdowns. So again, I think overall play in our offense could win this game, and we're at home. Again, I'm not mad at people doing a pick 'em here in this game because who knows what Vikings team is going to show up, but uh, only because it's my team and that over the shoulder, this right here and this right here, and that I'm repping it. I'm going with the Vikings. I wouldn't sell them for anything, but if we lose, we lose. It's not a big deal to me, but um, here in the chat, I just think we got a little bit more, but the Giants are playing very well. Remember, they rested everyone last week because they weren't moving in their position, which is the smartest move. Like I said, unlike the Chargers, a bunch of idiots, and they got the wide receiver hurt. That is an integral part of their game. So, but I just think that their deficiency on offense, which is the wide receivers and really mixing it up that way. They do a lot of good things in the run game and mixing it up. I just think that they're not very high level on the outside, and I think that's going to be problematic for them, especially like when the game is close and you got to count on those pass plays and getting into those players. They're just not exceptional out there, and I just think that's going to end up being their deficiency in this game. And that's all I got to say about it.
Chad, Vikings, Giants.
I got the Vikings -3 in this one. I took it, and I believe it. I think the Vikings. They've been very questionable, and you can't really fully trust what they're gonna do. But I think going up against the Giants defense, it's not bad, but their secondary still hasn't been the greatest. You still got you got Jefferson, Thielen, and Hawkinson. I mean, Hawkinson's going to eat up in the middle if everyone's blocked up on the outside. And then the Giants outside linebacker, that he's a weird ass name, Aziz something.
Ojulari.
Yeah, he didn't play, like, he didn't participate in practice on Wednesday. I'm not sure what he did today. But, I mean, if he's not playing, that's going to give you guys an opening there. I mean, not having starters on their like, in that front seven area, it's going to help Cook out a lot more, too. So, I think Cook's going to get going a little bit. And I think Jefferson's going to go off enough. And, I mean, you still have Thielen and Hawkinson. Even if Justin Jefferson gets covered up, Hawkinson's going to eat. He's going to get his catches. He's going to get his yards. He might not get the touchdown. And then you still have the fast dude over there. What's his name?
KGR.
Yeah, he's good too. I mean, you got weapons, and honestly,
and activated is Irv Smith. So
I think the big thing is just how Kirk's going to play in a prime time. I mean, I think Kirk can play well. I think he's gonna squash that bug this year. And nothing against the Giants. Daniel Jones doesn't seem like he's fully ready for a postseason game. I don't know.
I have issues with who he's thrown to on the outside. Like I said, I think with their run game
they're going to run the ball 50 times on you. What do you?
And allowing Daniel Jones to run, who hasn't turned over the ball running the football that much. But I think that's part of Daboll's thing where he builds the quarterback, but it's like, hey, it's to their strength. It was to Allen's strength, running the football and passing. But then Daboll's thing is, hey, as a quarterback, you have to minimize the turnovers. You have to start thinking about that. And I think he's done a really good job with that. It's just, who Daniel Jones has to throw to. I just think in crunch time and in big moments, those guys just aren't going to rise to it. I mean, and no credit to them. If they had some people to throw to, this might be a different game on paper, and and what Vegas thinks about it, and even what I would think about it. But I just think that it was problematic in the game before. I think it'll be problematic again this game. We're at home, and like you said, he's found a connection with Hawkinson that they've been lighting it up, and Jefferson has tailed off a little bit, but he's been enjoying his passing to Hawkinson, and that's been a really good connection. there, and so it'll spread the field out, give us some options. Again, this is not a game where we're going to blow them away, but it's a game I think we can get this dub.
Yeah. So with that, yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I think I was in the chat saying that I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win, and I would possibly take the Giants to win betting because I think their floor of what they can do is super consistent. And if the Vikings don't play to the best of their ability, they can find themselves in a close game and definitely lose. So, but
they can easily lose this game. I mean, a lot of people have seen the
close.
Vikings in prime time, and like I said, this one was close. There was a lot of drops by the Giants, and this would have been definitely a different game. Again, on offense, we've been playing still pretty steady and good. Defensively, very bipolar, but I think we could do enough here. But don't get it twisted. We could, even though this team is my pick'em team for this game, we could easily lose this game and actually get our doors blown off right at home. It would not surprise me if that happened. I just don't think that that's going to happen.
Well, from a Vikings fan over to a Bills fan, take it away, Chad. The 7 seed Dolphins versus the 2 seed Bills. What do you got, Chad?
I mean, they're playing Skylar Thompson.
Smiling.
Are you afraid? Would you be afraid of Skylar Thompson in his first playoff game?
No.
I'm not. I mean, if it was Tua, it might be a little closer. But honestly, I did a video on this before. I honestly think it'd be smarter to start Teddy. I don't care what his record's been as of late, and you're trying to find the next quarterback. I wouldn't. If I was any coach on the Dolphins team, Teddy has more veteran status to him. I would not be throwing Skylar Thompson out to start this game. If Teddy can play, because obviously he has that. Yeah, he has that knee injury, but I would trust Teddy back there way more than Skylar Thompson in a postseason game in that atmosphere. Dude, the pressure that's gonna be on that kid is gonna be crazy. So I just would, if they start Skylar, they're just gonna be screwed from the start, I think. I mean, Hill, Waddle, and the crew are still really good. They're gonna be able to produce and I'm sure Skylar's going to throw a pass up and Hill's going to catch something and make people miss and get some yards. It's going to happen, but overall, I'm not really too worried about it. What's crazy is it's a -13 spread. So, I mean, and it's not, if with Skylar playing, if he plays the whole game, I could see that happening. I could see us winning by that much. But if we go up by so much and they come back and they're within 10 points and it's towards the end of the game, why would we be aggressive? So that's why I think the 13's a little much, but I don't know. I think it's going to be me and Aaron are going to that game too, so it's going to be good. And, I mean, I hope your Bengals win so we can meet up in,
Listen, be honest. Be honest. You don't want none of that, dude.
Dude, that's gonna be good. Give me a nice atmosphere.
You already know those first 8 minutes of that game. You extrapolated that out. You Bills be puckering up your buttholes. You're lucky. Well, you don't want anyone to get hurt, but you don't want none of that. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not listen. The top 3 teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, they can all beat each other. But I am not even gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say shit because y'all gonna be surprised if the Bengals fucking go to the fucking Super Bowl again.
Well, I mean, the Bills drove up a little bit too the first drive, But
what happened?
Got right towards the end zone. I mean,
happened?
Hey, if they get that close, you can't tell me nothing can. That game could have gone anywhere. I think it would have been right down to the 4th.
Because you know what? You didn't respond with a touchdown. You guys weren't stopping us.
Hey, we're gonna have the Foyer and Hyde back there this time, so watch out for them. You say they're the best. They were the best safety duo out there, right? You can't say that. It's gonna be a good game though. But yeah, I think the Bills are gonna win this one. It's not really gonna be too much of a competition with Skylar out there, and now I'm sure they're gonna have Hamlin walking out the stadium down there with the boys. But I mean, he's able to go home. I'm not sure how
Give you guys
physical.
plus 10 toughness and vigor to win.
Dude, if you could imagine him actually on the sidelines for a little bit of that game, dude, that should be wild. But hey, he's literally out of the hospital. He's at the house. I'm not sure what he can physically do at this point, but they let him leave, so that's a good sign. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. Especially, I can't believe that he's. It's wild that he was able to even do any of that after a situation. 9 minutes of CPR without actually air going to your head, and you next week you're just walking out the hospital.
Right.
I don't care if you're in damn wheelchair. You're able to move your arms and legs, talk, and do stuff like that. That's crazy. Yeah?
Tom, what do you got?
So, this is pretty easy. Without Tua there, this is a totally different team. They can't defensively. They can't hang with the Bills, but with Tua there, his ability to be accurate, spread the ball around, makes this a totally different game. He's not there. I actually, this year with the Dolphins, haven't seen anything from Teddy Bridgewater. So even if they put him in, I don't see anything good, even if they put him in or Skylar Thompson. I just don't, like, it's a good story for the Dolphins, but this is where it ends. I mean, we're being honest. They can't, even with the depleted defensive backs, the Dolphins defense can't hold the Bills. It's just not going to happen. You need Tua to, I guess what I'm saying is you need Tua to kind of balance this game out to give them a chance. Remember, didn't they win the first matchup against them? So the problem is that's with Tua being consistent, on time, spreading the ball around to the playmakers. Teddy or Thompson ain't getting that done. You've seen how they play. And again, they can put Thompson out there. They can put Teddy. I've not liked Teddy on this Dolphins team. It just doesn't look right. It don't feel right. He doesn't play. It's not like him with the Saints. But even when he was with the Saints, they scored low points, and they didn't run away with games, but he was able to manage games. But if that's the game that you're going to play with the Dolphins, have Teddy out there, he's going to manage the game, you're going to get blown out anyway.
Well, and the difference is because Teddy, both guys are super accurate.
Right.
But Tua has a mind within that system to where he's going to read the field and he's going to attempt to look for the dudes down the field. Whereas Teddy's skill set is he's not looking downfield. Everything's short, dinking and dunking.
He's failing to launch, and again, you Adam can attest to this. When he was with the Broncos, they nickeled and dimed the Giants. I know we're laughing at that, but that's Teddy. But to a T, that's Teddy's game. Over the middle, short stuff.
Up that system.
Yeah, he can't. He's not gonna open up the offense with his arm. He's gonna keep everything underneath and very short.
And that's not to say Tua's like a great downfield passer. From an accuracy standpoint, he is.
Yes.
Not the greatest power in his arms. Like, the scheme helps him, but he's accurate. He throws guys open. And he's got personnel to take advantage of throwing guys open.
I think his major ability is he's so accurate that it's almost like play action to the stuff downfield. So he's so accurate that he's going to put it on the money and get it right there and get the dudes, hit them while they're running.
Let them work.
And let them work, that you're so concerned about that accuracy, he's going to catch you downfield, and that's that play action to the big play for him because he's so accurate. I mean, when you watch him, it looks like he got nothing on that ball. That ball is just coming out like it's floating. But that shit just drops in, bam, gone. And the dudes are running. But I think that's
being able to read a defense. It's timing,
right. But
anticipatory throwing.
Yeah, and I think that's what opens up the downfield stuff is his ability to be so accurate within that 25 yards and in and getting it and having those playmakers there is the defense gets shaky and then boom, he can get you downfield if you're gonna try to play that, oh, we're gonna try to keep everything underneath. Yeah. Let Waddle, let Tyreek get over the top.
I will say, I think they freaked out because he doesn't have a cannon, but he doesn't have the worst in terms of bad throwing power. He could still get the football down the field.
Again, it's kind of this thing where
he doesn't have a cannon, but he doesn't have a bad arm either.
A lot of these people that like it's same thing with Baker. They want to like, oh, he don't have this arm.
Well, Baker can spin.
Baker can throw it around. Baker's more of like Tua. He spread it out, likes to keep that stuff underneath. But you dial up that stuff downfield. That's why he's able to get those plays because he can do that accurate underneath. I think Tua is a little bit step above that. Underneath, bam. But that accuracy is pristine.
It's a shame he can't stay healthy. Like every 2 weeks he's getting concussed. It's like
no. It's when he falls, he lets his head hit the ground. There's problematic. So this is what I heard on PFF. They were like, he should go take some judo lessons. The first thing they tell you is that they were saying is some MMA lessons. Know how to fall. Don't let your head hit the fucking ground and then you rattle your brain and then you done. Got to learn how to fall. He doesn't know how to fall. He uses his head as the leverage to the ground. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you fall. You don't let your head get crinkled up. Like, come on, man. He doesn't know how to fall. And, like, the first thing that hits the ground is his head, and then he looks like, Michael Jackson in Thriller, like one of them zombies with the fucking stiff arms. Like, dude, you got to do better about. So he needs to be taught how to, in some sense, how to take a hit. He doesn't do that very well. It's smart. You can't play him.
Yeah.
He's taking too much. But with this said, in this game, without him, Dolphins don't have a chance. Yeah. Their record and what they are is based on what Tua does. Not so much the skill players on the outside, because it's what Tua does to get them the football. I don't like Teddy in this offense. I don't like Skylar Thompson in this offense. And I definitely don't like them against the Bills. The Bills might blow this fucking game out and sit everyone in the second half.
I feel like there's two games that could be blowouts. It's this game.
This one, yep.
And then there's the next game we're going to talk about, and that is the 49ers and the Seahawks. I feel like this could be a blowout. I think the 49ers could come in here and roll the Seahawks. What do you think?
You know what? I like Gino. I like what he's doing.
Adam does too. Not to win, but he's like, watch out for the Seahawks. I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Okay. So I got to refer back to the NFL chat. When I sent you that video, they get the pick at the end of the game. Dude flies out of nowhere, gets the pick. That goes like this to Bobby Wagner shit right there. And I was like, yeah, buddy. Like, let's get that. He was like, yo, I'm the boss today. This is so much for the rebuild. We in the playoffs. You ain't. So that's boss money right there. But I'm iffy on their defense. I like Gino has come down to earth a little bit, but still, let's be honest, Gino's a top 10 quarterback this year.
Yeah.
We can't. So even with the play coming down a little bit, hey, and I think Gino's a Pro Bowl player. So I want to say that Gino's in the Pro Bowl. So the thing is, but if he is or isn't, he definitely deserved it this year. Gino showed a lot of stuff. People kept like, well, this is just the first couple of weeks. Gino kept making plays, kept making consistent plays, getting it to the playmakers. Again, Gino has an arm. And out of college, it wasn't like a floaty ball or whatever. It's just when he came out, they just didn't really think that like he had, the NFL brain, had the arm, could throw it around, swing it around out of that West Virginia kind of offense.
Yeah, he played in a spread
Daniel Holgorsen kind of thing. And actually, before he left the Jets, he turned it on, but then what's his name, the linebacker, fucking, punched him, and then the whole shit and whatever. And remember, he's the quarterback that took away the streak for Eli Manning. He was the one that came in that broke that streak. But at that time, Gino wasn't that type of player. Gino has been playing well. He's very consistent. They found a really good running game outside of Carson that retired. So the running game is good. I think they're another team where their defense is a little bit bipolar, shows up to play, can make plays. I know that Carroll's kind of, his thing is defense. So, but they're a little bit bipolar. But San Francisco, too much firepower on the defense. I think this defense plays well. You don't need, and they showed it before. You don't need the quarterback to make exceptional plays. And actually, I think Purdy makes some really good plays out here. And it's not like he's a poor man's Garoppolo. I actually think that he plays better than Garoppolo in certain respects because he don't put out these floaty ass balls and like put shit in weird places. I actually think that he's a very steady quarterback. The lack of experiences is probably only kind of, digression from that. But with the defense, how they play, how they scheme up stuff for the playmakers on offense, I think that it seems like this might be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because these are two teams that know each other. But I do think that with the defense and the consistent play and the scheming on offense and Purdy actually being a quarterback that does not give the game away, plays within the structure that Shanahan puts out, I think this is a San Francisco win. I think this is not a blowout game, but I do think this is an easy win for them walking away, only because that, yes, it's an interdivisional game, but they're at home. I think they play very consistent. They have the playmakers on defense that do everything well. I think that the playmakers on offense, Purdy doesn't have to do too much. They don't have to ask him to do too much. And I think because Gino's done this in the season. Gino's had had games where he's just gone nuts and they still lose the game. I don't think this game is based on what Gino does or what Seattle does. I think this game is based on what San Francisco is willing to give away. They don't give away a lot. I think they win this game it's not a blowout, but I think they win this game pretty easily and they walk out of here and move on to the next round. I really, that's what I feel in this game. I feel that they're going to command this game. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. Like I said, Shanahan's going to scheme up some really good stuff for their playmakers. And Purdy is just, he plays solid. He don't make turnovers. And I think that how they play him and then in the structure actually really fits really well with him because he's not a turnover kind of dude. And what they do is like, just make these plays. We only need you to make these plays in the structure of this offense. We don't need you to go crazy. And I think he's actually, like I said, he's a little bit better than Garoppolo because Garoppolo, I think, a lot of times gives you opportunities to get turnovers. Purdy doesn't do that. And I think that they walk away with this game pretty easily. And I think Geno could play an amazing game, throw for over 400 yards or whatever. I just don't think it still would be enough to beat this 49ers team. They know each other too well, and I think Geno has to play. He has to be Superman, and I almost still think the 49ers still get the points, even if he plays amazing. It would not be enough with this team.
Chad, what do you think? 49ers and Seahawks?
I think it's not going to be too close, but I have the Seahawks covering the spread only because it's 9.5, boys. Come on, that's 9.5 points. Where
Bill's
I think
beers out here, dude. Let's shoot your shit there, professional better.
I think.
I mean, 9 points, but he's saying
Chad's like, hey, it's 9.5. I mean, what the gabagoo?
I see Geno going where he's not going to have anything really holding him back from like going full bore. Yeah, he might make some mistakes, but I think with Metcalf and Lockett back there, they're going to be able to do enough to make it get to the point where it's less than a 10-point game. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win. I say they're going to probably make a late touchdown score, make it like a 7-8 point game or something like that. Maybe 9 points, depending if they get field goals and stuff. And if you are the 49ers, why would you keep? I think their starters at some point might come out, and why would you put them back in if you're still up by 9 points? You know what I mean? Their defense is going to do good enough to stop them enough, but I think it's just going to be a game where they get close enough to not win by 10 points. But like I said, they're not good. Seahawks aren't going to win it. 49ers are going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom's going to be watching that game because that's the game they're going to be playing next. So
yeah,
if they get past the
I think so I really believe that, if they come into the best of their ability, the Seahawks could, make it competitive. They probably could score some points, even though this other team, this 49ers team, is stacked. Seattle could do a lot of different things when they're clicking. They could throw a ball down the field. They're good at play action. They can run the football a little bit. Geno can run, but I think what's going to be tough for them is I think defensively the Seahawks aren't deep enough at any given position for them to handle the fact that this 49ers offense probably has the most firepower of any offense in the league. Not only its stars when they're all healthy, but depth, offensive line. I think this defense is just so outmatched at every level. As good as I do like their middle linebacker, Jordan Brooks, I do like Woolen. I like the other corner across from him, who's a young guy. I do like the safeties. But their front seven's not good. And I think that this offensive line is going to just ragdoll the Seahawks team. They could definitely cover the spread in this game. I mean, it's the playoffs. Games can be close, but 9 points, not a lot to me, dude. 9 points isn't a lot to me in this matchup. So I like the 49ers. I like the 49ers to cover the spread. I think they're going to smash this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying the same thing.
I'd love to see the Seahawks win. It'd be awesome.
Right. I just don't like. I'm with you. I just think Geno could cook. I just think that the 49ers would have more control over this game. I think they could scheme. They do things on both sides of the ball, which I don't think that, like you said, Seattle has the ability on the defensive side to really throw some things and scheme some things up. I think they're just holding on the defense. And actually, the offense with Geno and the way he's playing seems to be ahead of the defense. But I think that there's just too many playmakers on offense on the 49ers. And let's be honest, the 49ers defense is going to be able to sort of not contain, but control Geno and what they can do offensively. They're really that exceptional. I mean, the defense. This is the best defense in the league. I mean, let's be honest about it.
To me, on paper, this is the best team in the league.
Yes.
The only area they're deficient is the fact that they got a kid who, although he's playing well, he's going to run into teams that are almost as good, but with elite quarterback play. Like, he's going to run into guys that have been killing it. Like, he's got to go against the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Like, luckily for them on that side of the bracket, they got to play against Geno, or not Geno. Geno's played really good. They got to play Kirk, who can play really good. They got to play against Jalen Hurts. What are the other teams that are in there? I have it right here. Tom Brady. The rub is, can this kid do enough to take the best overall roster to the Super Bowl? We'll see.
They did it with Garoppolo. They were trying to
fantastic. Like, he's been crushing it. Like, he puts the ball in harm's way a little bit, and it bogs his grade down. But, like, he's fucking putting up numbers. I mean, he's in a system that's wicked favorable to being a quarterback.
Well, one good thing is he's very confident, and not saying like he's got this uber arm talent or whatever, but he's very confident in what he can do. But I do think that how the 49ers play and how Shanahan schemes up stuff, you're asking him, we just need you to get the ball to these playmakers. And we're not asking you to throw 40-yard bombs or get chunk plays in the pass game. What we're asking you to do is get the ball to these dudes so they can get into their spaces and they can make the plays. And I think that's what makes him better. But also with any quarterback, even with Garoppolo, because they believe in Garoppolo. Garoppolo could get them the ball, so they believed in that. With Purdy, it's the same thing. Yes, he's going to make mistakes, but I think when he plays within the structure of what Shanahan delivers, it's, unless you're really just dogging it and just not getting the ball out there. I mean, really, the only weakness is like he would have to have a colossal, terrible game for it not to work. Again, playing well, but he's playing well. And remember, this was Russell Wilson with a young team with a really good defense. Play within the structure, don't make turnovers, do the things that you can do. When he played out of structure, that seemed to be better of his ability. I'm not saying that that's what Purdy, but he could still make plays. Purdy plays within this structure, which is a high-level offensive scheme that Shanahan delivers. But with good playmakers, just get the ball to the playmakers. Let them make it happen. Their defense is so good that you don't have to gamble. And I think that's what their advantage is. They really could go out and blow out teams based on the defense, but I don't think they really need to do that. That's why I think that this game is not a blowout, but I think that they have control of this game for most of the game. They're not going to let Geno cook that much. Geno could cook against a lot of teams. I just don't think that he's going to cook. He'll cook, just not exceptional against this defense. Again, they have all the tools to make a run. If any team was going to challenge the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts didn't play that well last week, but obviously he's coming off an injury. But this team with this defense, and again, they kind of play very similarly where they have a quarterback that's not overly exceptional, but plays within the system, gets it to the playmakers, and like Hurts has the ability to run, but play within the structure behind a really good team. They can get W's to get to that championship, and at least NFC championship game. This team is a high-level team that could get to the Super Bowl. Easily, you could see that.
So, Chad, real quick, can you hear me? See if Chad can hear me.
Yeah, I can. I hear you.
Real quick before we move on to the next thing I want to talk about, just say who you think's gonna win. I'm gonna go through the teams you missed. Chargers at Jaguars.
I got the Jags winning this one. With Mike Williams out, I got Jags going.
All right. Baltimore at Cincinnati.
I mean, since Huntley's
Or
not nothing, not
vice
a
versa. I
threat.
don't know who plays where, but
You're just playing at Cincy. I have Cincinnati winning. There's no way Huntley's gonna come up there and go back in the same stadium that they just got beat the crap out of and win.
Dallas at Tampa.
I'm gonna say Dallas. I think Dallas is gonna be coming. Is gonna come back big after a loss like that. It's Mario. I see it.
Giants
But yeah,
and Vikings. Oh wait, so what were you saying about Dallas and Tampa?
Yep. Yes, he is, bud.
So you got
But yeah,
Dallas at Tampa.
Yeah, I think Tampa with their injuries, and I know Dallas. I think Dallas is going to have a bad taste in their mouth from the last game, and they're going to come into this game swinging all forces. I think, and honestly, their defense isn't horrible. It wasn't great, obviously, last game, but I don't know. I just think with the weapons that Tampa has, I think Dallas is going to be able to outdo their defense better than Tampa can outdo theirs.
All right, and then Giants at Minnesota.
I think I already told you. I think I got Vikings winning that one.
Okay, so the last thing I'll talk about, because we're coming up on an hour 45 here.
Okay.
I'll start with Chad. What teams do you think make it to the AFC and NFC championship?
I got to say the Bills, obviously, because it's going to be tight. It's either going to be the Bills. It's going to be Chiefs, Bills, or Chiefs, Bengals. I don't think there's any other route to it. I mean, the Jags. If the Jags beat the Chargers, there's no way the Jags are taking the Chiefs out. You can't be too blunt with that, but I mean, you can't see that happening. So it's either the matchups that's going to determine that is between the Bills and the Bengals, and it's going to be a pretty aggressive game. 1 second.
What do you got on the NFC?
NFC, it's going to be Eagles. I guess Eagles 49ers. Unfortunately, with the win with the Vikings this week, they're going to be going up against the red hot 49ers, and the 49ers defense is just so good, and I'm not saying that Kirk and the boys can't score some points on them, but the problem is the defense of the Vikings.
Gotcha. What do you got?
So I just, yeah.
So if I'm going to go to NFC, I'm probably going to go with it's going to be the Eagles. They probably got the easiest path, whether they face Tampa Bay or Dallas.
Dallas.
They're going to be at home.
Let's go.
But I don't. I think the Eagles bring a lot to the table. I think they're definitely going to make it in. I'm gonna say it's in the NFC. It's gonna play out the way it should be. Eagles 49ers, and they'll be fighting in. I think on the AFC side, again, I'll go with what Chad said. It's Chiefs, Bengals, or Bills. However you're gonna slice that up. I think those teams are by far and away. I think the Bengals are playing well again at the right time. I think the Chiefs are playing with picking up a Tony, Schuster. They're playing really well. Mahomes is still playing really well. They could possibly have the Defensive Player of the Year and what Chris Jones. So they seem like a good team. I'm not saying that they're exceptional on defense. I'm just saying that offensively they're playing at a high level, like they've normally been playing. I do like the Bills. The Bills can turn it on offense. I think they, you know, let's the job that McDermott and Leslie Frazier has done. A lot of injuries on defense, but they still keep winning these games. They still keep battling, and again, they're playing well at the right time. So it's tough in the AFC because those are the hierarchy. Those three teams are the hierarchy. So it could be one of those three matchups. But in the NFC, I think it's going to play out to the 1-2 seed, which is the Eagles and 49ers, and them, having kind of a slobber knocker to get into into the Super Bowl.
Okay, so then we'll wrap with this. Who is your dark horse team from each side? You can go, Tom. Your dark horse team from each side. You can go first, Tom.
I actually think this is easy. I think on both sides. I think Dallas. I mean, they really good defense, could turn it up offensively. They have to win it on the road. I mean, they have to pull off like a Giants kind of deal. I would say Dallas because of the defense and ability on offense. I would say the Giants, but I just don't. They're if you got no one to pass to, you're just missing the weapons. I mean, when they had the Eli and they were making the runs, we got Plaxico Burress, you got Tyree, you got these weapons, and their defense was exceptional, especially defensive line and who they were bringing. Tuck, Jason Pierre-Paul, they just had these dudes that once they got to Tom Brady, they can get after them. They don't have that. So I don't think that they're my dark horse. I'm not saying that they couldn't win against the Vikings, but I just don't think they're gonna let's say get it one win. I don't think they'll get past that. I think Dallas has the ability to kind of match up, like I said, Dallas and the Eagles. Dallas could easily, not easily, but Dallas could beat the Eagles. I mean, they know them enough. Again, there is a battle with words, but
yeah, the first game, the Eagles didn't win by all that much, and it took the backup quarterback throwing 3 interceptions.
So they would definitely
to tie the game.
Yeah, and I don't really have faith with Seattle moving on. So it's definitely Dallas in the NFC. In the AFC, I want to say I'll go with this because I think they have an exceptional defense that could turn it on, and they do have high-level playmakers, and if they could just put everything together. But the Chargers have, on paper, they got the talent. This is a slim dark horse because I just don't think they'll put it all together. I just really don't. But that would be my dark horse because, again, you have the quarterback talent. You have elite players on defense on the other side of the ball. And that's defensive line, that's defensive backs, and these dudes at the right time could make plays and they could pour it on. And again, it's hard. Khalil Mack, Bosa, it's James, man, it's hard to stop. Yeah, it's hard to stop these dudes. Will they do it? In Chargers fashion, they won't. But they would be my dark horse because of on paper and what the capabilities of their star players, which they have a lot of them, could be the dark horse. But I don't. But again, I didn't even pick them to get out of the first round. I find it hard. But if they could get out of that first round, like Berman says, start to circle the wagons and get it going. But they do have the ability. I would take those two teams as the dark horse in each
Chat,
conference.
dark horse team on AFC and NFC.
It's going to be boring, but I'm going to say Cowboys too because even though they showed up bad the last week of with their starters playing, I mean they have the only opportunity to really make a dark horse because I don't think Seattle's going to be it, and then I don't think you can really call Vikings a dark horse at the level they are because if they come firing on all cylinders, they have the chance. I mean, the same thing with the Cowboys. You can go between those two, I guess. But I'm going to go more towards the Cowboys side for that feature. Just because the defense for the Cowboys is a little bit better than I think the Vikings defense. Unfortunately, I just think the Vikings have been letting teams beat up on them too much throughout the year. I mean, I was surprised to see that stat, like the differential. They're the only team, like 13 of some of the teams with a negative differential or something like that, which is wild.
They won all the games they won.
Yep, exactly. So, like I said, if everything goes well for each team, I think Cowboys do a little bit better, just defensive wise. But I can see the Vikings too. But I'll put my money on Cowboys over Vikings and AFC. I mean, you got to say the Jags. I'm going to say the Jags. Just because if the Jags go in and they somehow beat KC, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it definitely would be shocking because KC plays well in postseason and it's gonna be at Arrowhead. But the Jags have been running hot, and KC has been letting teams play with them, and they've been getting lucky. I mean, they almost lost to Houston. They went to overtime with Houston. I mean, that's ridiculous. They lost to Indy earlier in the year. Granted, it was early, but they still lost to Indy. And even the game after that Texas game, super close when it shouldn't have been. You know, it's just like they have been letting teams play, and they were even down in that Houston game. I think they had to come back, or no, they went up like 20 something, and they let them come back to 20 points. So it's like, I don't know what they have to do, but I can see the Jags surprising the Chiefs. If the Chiefs come into that game thinking they're just going to roll them, I can see the Jags surprising them a little bit. And if they don't get on their speed up a little bit when they need to, they're going to get burnt in their own stadium.
Yeah,
it's happened before.
Say it again.
It happened last year. No one thought the Bengals were going to come in and beat them, and they let the Bengals play with them, and you guys went fist for fist, and at the end you guys ended up with a dub. So, I mean, Jags aren't as good, obviously, but they do have a lot of weapons on both sides. That if they play super hot, they could have a chance to beat them. But there's not that high of a chance. But that's my dark horse for that side.
Right. So, my dark horse, I'm going to agree with all you guys with the NFC, is the Cowboys. The team's just, regardless of how that team is played on and off, if they get hot and put everything together, they have one of the more talented rosters in the league in terms of sheer, star and skill power. So I could see the Cowboys sitting where they sit. I don't think it's crazy that the Cowboys could beat the Eagles and get to the NFC Championship. I don't think that's crazy because they're 1-1 against them this year. I know they didn't have Hurts, but they also didn't have Dak when they lost to him. And then everyone gets in the chat and goes, "Oh, that's an ass whooping." That wasn't an ass whooping. Beating a team by 25 is an ass whooping, not beating a team by 9 or whatever the fuck they beat them by. And they were in the game the whole entire game. And it just so happens to be the backup quarterback's meltdown game with opportunities for them to win. There was the play where CeeDee Lamb was wide open for a touchdown. Dak would have found him on that play. Mm-hmm. Even as bad as Dak has been playing, Dak's just been turning the ball over. Dak would have found him on that play, and it would have made the game so much closer. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, like everyone likes to say until in the chat till their team catches a fucking ass whooping. But I would not be surprised if Dallas, beats Tampa and then beats the Eagles. And I don't think the Eagles are an infallible team. I think that you can force Jalen Hurts to play bad under pressure and make bad throws into different coverages. I still don't think he's that great at throwing the football down the field. I just think the offensive line is really, really good, and his players are really good at getting open.
Yeah.
I still need to see some more out of him in this playoff atmosphere. So yeah, I like Dallas as I will say this, and it's the reason why I don't see it happening. But as crazy as this season has been, and how fucking wishy-washy and finicky the season's been, it's just been all over the place. If the Vikings have a bad day, I could see the Giants beating the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And then if the Giants go on to play Brock Purdy and the 49ers, and if Brock Purdy has a bad enough day and the 49ers can't move the football, then that kind of levels the playing field. The one thing I will say I give credit to the Giants for is the Giants aren't that great of a team, in my opinion, but they are very good at playing a certain style of game. It's hard to play that certain style of game in today's NFL against everyone consistently, but whether or not you want to call out the fact that they haven't played a lot of good teams, but they still do what they do very consistently. And even in a lot of the games they've lost, they still have done that consistently, and they've lost some close games. I could see a scenario where the Giants make it close in their playoff games against anyone they play. I could see that being a weird scenario, but I don't. It's very highly unlikely.
Just one thing: the number one seed gets the lowest seed coming out. So if the Giants did win, the Eagles, and if Dallas and the Giants win, the Eagles would actually play the Giants.
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
If the 49ers win, the 49ers, number one seed always gets the lowest seed in the next round. But it also depends on if Tampa Bay won, then Tampa Bay and the Giants won, Eagles would play the Giants. Tampa Bay would roll over to play the 49ers. Right. Or vice versa. Well, what is it? Seattle is playing
the 49ers.
The 49ers. So, again, if we're already saying that the 49ers win, the Eagles get the lowest seed. So on both sides, it's the lowest seed. Right. So, but
I really don't see it happening. I mean, I could see it happening in the Vikings game where the game's really close because of really no fault but the Vikings themselves. Like, you just don't know what team's going to show up, in my opinion. AFC, but that's a huge reach. I don't see that happening. Dallas is the clear lower seed dark horse that could make a run at the NFC Championship.
And like you said, roster is better.
Yeah,
we've seen this team play exceptional football and blow fucking teams out. But also we've seen, in a sense, why they would be a dark horse. We've seen the dark side of this team,
right?
Where turnovers, maybe defense is there, offense is not there, maybe vice versa. You know, like I said, we don't want to get into the bad play calling, but play calling seems kind of junky, clunky with Dak and. The play calling, and it just doesn't seem like seamless. Seems very so, but yeah, I mean, still, and that's kind of weird too because Dallas, with this team, I really wouldn't, based on the teams that are in the playoffs, I really wouldn't say that they're a dark horse. I would say that they're, at a high level team that can make a run.
Right. They're
and you got 12 wins. Yeah, it's just based on the teams that are here, it's like you guys got the best chance to make a run. Even with 3 seed Vikings, you guys have a better run to make a run because high level defense. Offense could get off the ground and just start, getting some stuff done, running the football, passing the football. So, really on paper, they seem better than the Vikings, if you're going to say that. I mean, calling them a dark horse is just a weird thing.
Yeah. I mean, and what I mean by dark horse is like a lower
Yeah.
seed team that can make a run at the NFC.
Yeah,
the NFC
and again, I said that was easy because the Dallas, because we ain't gonna call Tampa a dark horse even at 8-9. They just don't look that good in most of the season. But really, I mean, outside of the Eagles, Dallas is right there. 49ers, Dallas is almost right there. I mean, and then the way they've blown our doors off. I mean, like I said, calling them a dark horse is weird, but in the position that they're in, yeah, we consider them a dark horse. But really, they could easily blow Tampa Bay away. And like I said, if they happen to meet the Eagles, they could easily, go toe to toe with the Eagles, and there's an issue. But yes,
so by AFC, I have two, right?
Okay.
But for there's one reason why I have two. They come out the same spot. So mine are the Chargers and the Jaguars. I do think the Chargers are a better team overall. They have better talent. They have better players at most positions. But the Chargers aren't playing with their fully healthy roster, and even a lot of the guys that are playing are pretty banged up. If that team comes out and if things roll for them the right way, they get the best out of their skill position players, the defense shows up, and the guys can stay healthy, I definitely think they could beat the Jaguars, and I definitely think they could beat. I think they could beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Jaguars.
They know the Chiefs.
I think the Jaguars right now are a tough matchup for people. Because they're, for the most part, they're pretty damn healthy. Mm-hmm. They're clicking on all cylinders. And one thing I love about this defense is the defense is fast. They play tough, and they're long. Their linebackers, Devin Lloyd and Fosaye Aluakan, or whatever his name is, they're both long, super fast, rangy linebackers. They have they have depth at linebacker. They got a couple kids that come off the bench and spell and play pretty good coverage. Their corners are long. Like, they play long, fast, instinctive defense. And I think a lot of their young defenders, Andre Sisco, who's really good out of Syracuse, plays free safety for them, impacts the game big time with his range and his ability to go get the football. When you look at the Jaguars offensively, obviously Lawrence is starting to show that he's on his way to being a top-tier quarterback, but they got running backs they can run the ball with, throw it to him on the backfield. They got a lot of options offensively. Evan Ingram's playing better this year, and they also have a depth at wide receiver. Not any, like, Christian Kirk's solid. Zay Jones is actually underrated, but they got depth and a lot of different guys on that team that do a lot of different things. They could cause mismatch problems for the Chargers and for the Chiefs, in my opinion, if they play to the best ability. So those are my dark horse AFC teams who just joined.
Maybe Austin.
Can you hear us?
He's muted.
Yeah, I got invited.
Yo, Big Austin, what's up, baby?
Yeah. What's up?
Yo, what up, Austin? You're on the Keep It a G-Real podcast, brother. You're part of the crew now. What's up, buddy?
Going on?
You've been busy with b-balling, huh? What, you not gonna show us your face, dude?
Nah, I will. I'm on like nasty right now.
Oh, tell your grandmother you could see me.
I'm on I just got out of practice.
Yeah, how'd practice go?
It was pretty good. We did some stuff.
Yo,
we have a game tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna come to a game or two of yours next week. You got a couple home games. Yo, you should go if you're not doing nothing. You should go with us.
I could probably
watch a Big Austin out there.
Well, I'll probably be in my postal gear, but yeah, it'd be dope.
So, well, we were wrapping up, bud. But do you want to give us some? You want to drop us your playoff predictions while you're on here?
Hey, I'm peacing out. Gotta put the kids to bed.
All right,
peace, guys.
Oscar,
Later.
you want to drop us your playoff predictions, NFL playoff predictions? I'll run through them. You can just tell us who you think's going to win.
All right, I'll do that quick.
All right. Chargers versus Jacksonville. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Jags on this one.
You got the
Unanimous.
Jags. Okay.
I got the Jags.
Unanimous.
Trevor Lawrence has been playing nice. He's been able to make the plays, getting out of the pocket, being able to make the plays. Wide receivers have been stepping up. Travis Etienne's been looking pretty solid these last couple of weeks. Just thinking they're looking good.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Justin Herbert's just going to fold under the pressure.
Ooh, spicy. Justin Herbert folded to the pressure. Hot take. Okay. Baltimore versus the Bengals. Ravens and Bengals.
Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna go with the Bengals on this one. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Bengals, they're so good all around. As just in every aspect of the game, they're just doing it defensively, offensively, just doing it.
Yo, my man's dropping fire right now. Dolphins and Miami. Dolphins and Bills.
I got to go with the Bills, especially with Tua not being back. I feel like, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, but they don't got something really, really solid. Skylar Thompson, he's all right, but I think, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, the defense, I feel like they're just looking. I just got to go with the Bills.
There you go. You heard it here first. Just go with the Bills. What do you think about the Cowboys in Tampa? That was a tough one for us.
I am going to go, hear me out, I'm going to go Tampa on this one.
Oh.
Okay. He's an Eagles fan. You got to remember.
And the only reason I say that, because I feel like, as we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks, I feel like it's just, you've been seeing a lot more Tom Brady, Mike Evans. Mike Evans been making the explosive plays, Leonard, I feel like they still got to establish their ground game a little better. But, even last week, I feel like they're just Dak. Maybe if he has a comeback week, but Dak wasn't looking too good last week. And Tony Pollard hasn't been looking too good recently. And I think Tom Brady, he's just going to show up and do what he always does in playoffs.
Gang. Heard it here. Austin dropping dimes. Giants at Minnesota.
I gotta go Minnesota here. Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. Kirk's been putting up some nice numbers. Same with Justin Jefferson. They're just there, and I don't think the Giants secondary is gonna stop. I don't think they're gonna be able to. And then Delvin Cook also making some really explosive plays on the ground. So,
okay, so final one: 49ers versus Seattle Seahawks.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers here.
Yeah, you probably don't got to explain that one, do you? 49ers are good. All right, Austin's got his picks. Who you think's going to make it to the AFC and NFC championship then?
I'm going to go 49ers and Eagles.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say the Bills and the what was the other team I was going to have go? The Bills? Man, I forgot. I keep forgetting what other teams are in this.
There's the Bills, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Ravens, Chiefs, Jags, and
Chiefs. Bills and Chiefs. Bills and Chiefs.
Okay. Bills and Chiefs. All right. Yo, that's what's up. Serious question for you, buddy. What do you got going on tomorrow night?
Honestly, I don't think too much. I think, tomorrow's Friday, so I have a game tomorrow, but.
All right. What time do you think you can be home?
Probably not till pretty late, because we have a game in Cortland at 5, and we play in West Varsity too.
Okay, well, we are restarting the Madden franchise because the files got corrupt. Apparently, there was some mass whatever, everyone's online franchises got corrupted or whatever. If you want, we're seriously starting this up, and we're gonna be playing for real. A couple new buddies got PlayStation 5s. If you don't make it in time, you're more than welcome to just join whatever side has a missing a player because we got 7, and you could just pick a team if you want to pick a team up and play with us.
All right, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so just let us know. We'll let you go because we're going to wrap it up, but let me know. I'll float you a text tomorrow, and I'll let you know what's going on with that. If not, then over the weekend, we could just get you in there and see what teams are available, and we'll just let you pick one.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll go over the rules and stuff with you when you pick and all that happy stuff.
All right. Hey, invite me to more of these. I like these.
Yeah, this is my podcast, buddy. You are more than welcome to come on the podcast with us. We talk about sports, we talk about video games, all that happy stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, this is the Keep It a G Real podcast. My boy Ton, my boy Austin here coming to the end, dropping his picks. Playoffs start this coming weekend. I think it's tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday. Then there's Sunday games. Then there's a Monday game.
And a Monday game. Yep.
Yeah, Dallas and Tampa Monday.
Yeah, Dallas plays Monday.
Follow Bill's Bets and Beers. My boy Chad, guys, follow Bill's Bets and Beers. He's always up to date on the latest beers coming out, placing bets, talk a little bit about his bills. And you already know the deal. Mr. Nasty Time on all my platforms. I'll be streaming on YouTube and all that happy stuff this weekend. So we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.